traders, final boarding call to report to the dance floor. Paging Flygo. This flight is scheduled to depart in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome everybody to the first show of Inflight Shenanigans. I'm so excited to have everybody here with me. And my name is Adrina Rhinehart. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. I'm just going to talk about, sometimes you may hear somebody say, Adrian. It's still me. It's just one of those things where my name was all flipped around when I was younger, and here I am. But Adrina Rhinehart, that's who I am. And we just want to make sure we say thank you for joining us and for tuning in, for listening to the podcast. We want you to make sure that you go out there and share on all of your Instagrams and Teddygrams, whatever you got. Make sure you share this podcast, because I guarantee you're going to get so many laughs out of it, and you're also going to get some education about the aviation industry. A little bit about myself, my background. I flew for about 22 years. I've held several different positions within the aviation industry for 22 years, and recently retired. Yay for me. And yay. I know, right? Y'all should clap. I shouldn't have to coach you into a clap. but I'm so excited to start my new podcast, my new YouTube show, Inflight Shenanigans, because there's so many things that happen on board the aircraft that we don't always get a chance to hear. And then when you do hear it, you hear it from a movie standpoint. I'm not going to name the movies, but they don't really touch on it, you know? So we're going to talk to flight attendants. And I promise you, they have a different perspective on what happens on board that aircraft. Mm-hmm. I was a former flight attendant, along with doing some other things in the industry. But we're touching on some fun things. We want to educate you as well as make you laugh at yourself, because I'm sure you've done something. We've all done something on board that aircraft that wasn't just so. So here we are, and I'm not going to do this by myself. I don't like doing all the heavy lifting by myself, so I have some guests here, some special guests here. I'm really excited to have them all here, so I'm going to introduce them one by one, and they can show you their pretty smiles. If you listen to the podcast, just imagine that pretty smile is there. So we're going to start with Cinta, right here to my left. Cinta, tell them about yourself, please.
My name is Cinta. I've been in the industry for 9 years, soon to be 10 in June.
Oh.
I enjoy the job. I like the flexibility. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to what you have to say. And there's some stuff.
Just a little bit.
Awesome. And we also have Kendall.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kendall, a.k.a. K-Fly, a.k.a. KC, with no JoJo. And I've been in the industry for about 13 years, and I love it, and I'm so happy to be here today.
Okay, give me those AKAs again, because I lost
Kendall, a.k.a. K-Fly, a.k.a. KC, with no JoJo.
All righty then. We so appreciate it.
It's just a tagline.
Hey, she's special.
I like the KC with no JoJo, though.
It's just something
we got you. We got you. Shout out to Casey and JoJo.
Yes. Ooh, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Last but not least, we have Sharonda.
Hi, I'm Sharonda. I have been flying coming up on 13 years. I love flying. I have only worked with pretty much one airline, but just love being in the industry.
Oh, she's dedicated.
She's dedicated.
When she gives with one, she stays with one.
Yes.
That's loyalty there.
That is loyalty.
But you know, it's interesting because I applied for one airline and ended up working for 3, thanks to the, people taking over and things like that. So it's kind of interesting how this industry is, but that's what we do. So topics for today. I just decided to for the first show, to just dive right into something that has been on my mind for a long time. Lavatories. What are you doing in there? What's happening in that lavatory, man? There's some things that needs to just stay in there, but everything that happens in the lavatory don't always stay in the lavatory. So we're going to talk about that a little bit and, give you some insight on what to do and what not to do. Okay, I'm sorry. Not to do. But before we get into that topic, I have something to ask you ladies.
What's up?
When you are flying, what do you bring to eat? And is there anything that should be off limits on board the aircraft as far as eating? Because remember, we're in a tube, a small tube where the circulation just goes right in and right out. And I'm just curious because I had an incident that happened, and I'm just curious. So we'll start with whoever would like to start.
Census,
so wait, we're going to go into food and then the do-do?
Yeah, we'll get back to the do-do because you have to eat first, right?
We're going to let Census kick this off right now because I'm ready.
And that's the thing. You have to eat first, and then you have to go to the lavatory. So we're going to eat first.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys. I don't care what is ate on the plane.
I'm judging.
You can eat whatever. For me, I'm going to eat the tuna fish, the eggs.
Judging.
No.
Judging.
I'm gonna make some curry chicken. I don't eat meat anymore, but we're gonna have a curry.
Curry's okay.
If it's in my bag,
tuna,
fish.
There are some people who smell like tuna. Like you don't know which one is a boiled egg. You don't know if someone passed gas or if it's a boiled egg. I don't know. What on a plane?
Well, our days are too long for me not to eat.
There are so many other foods you can eat. Hummus. I love hummus.
Hummus is good. Yeah.
You know, you can do black beans. You can do rice.
No. Wait.
No, not black beans.
Go back to the black beans.
No.
You know,
well, they don't smell when you eat them, but they do smell later.
There you go. We're bringing the black beans
back.
I
eat
correct
later. Smell later on.
So I got a question back for Santa though. Okay, so you're the one. I am the one. You're the one that does it, that makes everybody else like, who would do that? So let me ask you.
There's a disclosure there. I tell them, hey, I'm having tuna. I got an egg. I'm going to open this up. And then they're like, why would you do that? Usually I say, really? Or it's okay, I don't care. And I do what I need to do because I'm hungry.
Okay, so have you ever had a complaint though? I mean, as far as when you
passenger
cracked open
or
whomever,
flight attendant,
whomever.
Yes, but do I care?
No, you don't care.
Because I keep doing it.
Okay.
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
Y'all should see Kendall's face. If you're listening, Kendall does not like me right now, and we are friends.
I will say, if I ever flew with Jacinta, I would let her do it. She's fine because I like her. But if I like you, you get so many
I can still give her the side eye though, because I mean, you know what? Let me ask you, Rhonda. Okay,
yeah.
Is there something that you have brought that you thought, well, maybe I shouldn't have, or you don't care?
No, I do care. I'm very aware and trying to take everybody else into consideration. But to me, what's interesting is all the different smells that you can walk through the plane in one walkthrough and you can smell fresh roses, people who didn't take a bath, somebody who brought fish, and then the lavatory. So all in one walk. You go through all these scents and smells and emotions.
It does bring a little something out of you.
Yes, it does.
You don't feel too
She's
good
right.
with it.
Yeah, she's right. Exactly. And I'm picturing it as I walk through the cabin,
oh my gosh,
this is exactly what I feel.
Yeah.
Wow. So Kendall, what do you? Okay, you said hummus. I got you on that, but I can't stand it. But
okay,
I mean,
you don't like the smell, or you don't like hummus, the taste.
It's like, what's the point? What's the point of hummus?
I love hummus. Wait a minute.
I will say, I learned from experience on the plane, you need to keep hummus refrigerated. If you don't, it's not going to work out good the next day. Like, you need to keep it cold.
It's chickpeas.
Well, I thought
so you cannot.
It was okay
you have to keep
sitting
it
out all day on the plane and I eat it that night. No, not a good idea.
Okay, I'm sorry that happened.
That's why you ice your bag.
Thank you, but
okay.
I don't ice my bag.
That was shame.
Okay, I'm gonna.
That was shame. I saw her face when she said it.
I can feel it from the side over here.
She handled it well. She looked at me. I mean, she's gonna shade me when I'm with her, and
you pull
she see my eggs, and she's gonna say, "Really, this is what you're doing?"
Okay, I do have a question for everybody in the audience and everybody here. By a show of hands, well, not show of hands, but give me a clap. Should someone eat fish on the plane?
No.
I appreciate you. So majority says no.
No,
Santa, no.
Try not. I'll tell you why.
Yes.
Fish is a smell that does not go away quickly.
Yes.
It lingers.
You better preach it.
For 3 flights.
Yes.
And then you have to explain to the next group of people, they're like, what is that smell?
Well,
Oh, sorry. Three flights ago, somebody had fish.
And then they might waste it on the floor.
Yes.
It could be somewhere you don't know and you still smell it. You're like, why do I still smell it?
I just keep spraying with it.
Yeah.
But now you have fish and
you're
roses.
a doll. You can do it, but I just...
You don't want fish
don't
and
like
roses either.
No.
So,
Oh,
okay. All right. So the next question I have for everybody. Hummus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
It doesn't have a smell.
You're against hummus.
I'm against
That's
hummus.
because you don't like
against
it.
Yeah, it's just because you don't.
Over the
like
peanut
hummus.
gallery, all the way over in the corner. Hummus?
I actually haven't had it. I don't know.
Okay. She said she hasn't had it. She said
I
never.
didn't see the point.
Okay, another audience member said she didn't see the point.
You have to eat it with the right
But if you gotta
thing.
do it, but if you gotta do it with something else, just do something else.
Well, no, I mean like chips or pita. You just can't spoon like.
Yeah,
So
you
what's
can.
the point?
I'm
See,
there.
The audience
I
is
think
getting
it's
real.
filling.
It's
I
filling
think
some
it's
type
It is filling.
It's filling. It's healthy.
It's a filling food that's healthy.
Yeah.
It's not cheese, but it kind of reminds you of cheese for some reason. It has a good texture.
Good texture. I'm all about the texture.
Well, maybe
of
I'll
food.
try it again one day. Maybe I'll do it on the show one day. I'll just bring a big bowl of hummus right here and sit it and
It has
see
to
what
have
happens.
the flavor of
Keep it refrigerated.
hummus, though, because the regular hummus plain is only good in like a Mediterranean dish.
Mm-hmm.
But the flavored ones, you can do that by itself with some carrots and some broccoli
Celery.
Adrina, what
Sounds-
snacks do you like?
when you're on the plane.
Yeah.
On the plane. Shoot, now I gotta eat the pretzels, whatever they have, because this, I don't bring my lunch, so
Oh, okay.
I didn't bring my lunch.
Must
so,
be a
When
blessing.
I was a commuter, I didn't bring lunch.
well,
It's too much.
it's too much. You don't have all this stuff.
When I was
I don't go
commuting.
into a lot of. I bring basics because anything can happen.
Yeah.
So I've been in situations where I have no food, we're delayed, we diverted, and I have nothing. And you can't get off, because you have people on the plane. So I try to bring like enough to hold me if need be, if anything happens.
If anything happens,
If
I
anything
hear you.
pops off.
I bring a breakfast, lunch, dinner. I bring
Every
a gourmet
trip?
meal every
Wow.
trip.
Wow, I
She's one
can't
of
do
those
that
that
Because I'm
every trip.
hungry.
Make food on the
Yeah.
plane.
And I'm
Not
gonna
every trip.
I got a little story.
That's where the
what's the
eggs
story?
and the fish come in.
And I'm not gonna, one thing about the show, I don't mention names.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes, people who are VIPs can come on board your aircraft and, they do different things and it's interesting. I had a person who's very well known who came on board the aircraft and, she was the first person who came on the aircraft. She's elderly and I was in awe because I'm such a fan. And, she came and sat down in the first row of seats. And I don't know if you guys remember. If you don't, go ahead and Google or go back and YouTube it or whatever you do to find the show from Sanford and Son. When Fred is on the plane and he's wanting to know if Jackie's flying on the plane, and he brings out this big bag of chicken wings. They have all this grease around the bag.
No.
Well, that's the image. This person came on board the aircraft. She took something out of her bag. And it was greasy with something with the bag. I don't know what it was, but when she brought it out, it was the worst smelling, the worst looking something I've ever seen.
You didn't even know what it was?
I have no clue to this day what that was.
Oh, wow.
And we're from the South, so
It has
it
some
ain't
little-
too much to surprise us.
It had some little black bits and pieces in it,
Oh.
and
Black bits and
some
pieces.
little white bits and pieces in it, and it smelled like foot.
Oh.
Oh my!
Maybe it was hummus. I don't know.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know.
That is not how hummus
It could have been hummus. I don't know.
Doesn't have a smell.
No.
Yeah, hummus does not
Hummus
have
has no
a smell.
smell.
But it was horrible. It was horrible.
Was it
And
like a soup?
no, she had a fork and she sat there and she scooped it out of that bag and
Oh,
sat there and ate it. And I was thinking, I still love you, but this is too much for me.
But passengers will bring anything. I mean,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
flight attendants. There is a code. We shouldn't be. It's an unspoken code, but I shouldn't be eating eggs and fish. I still do, but as far as passengers, I've smelled some stuff with the food, and it's unpleasant.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the moral to this story is don't eat fish, don't eat boiled eggs, don't fly with Santa. I don't know. Just
And when you first get on the plane, please don't come straight to the lavatory. There is a restroom in the airport, people.
Oh my gosh. All right. So great segue. We're going to get into some lavatories in just a moment. We're going to take a second to thank our sponsor for today. We have Best Cakes Ever, and we have, I think it's orange stickle cake from Best Cakes Ever. And oh my gosh, these cakes are fantabulous. And so we're going to take a little moment, take a break, and as soon as we come back, we're going to dive into
Fly girl, bank right, now bank to the left. Bank right, now bank to the left.
Switch your head.
Bank right, now bank to the left.
Okay, so welcome back to Inflight Shenanigans. Thank you for tuning in again, and we're going to get right back into what we talked about prior to the break. After you've eaten, you've put all that fish and boiled eggs and hummus and stuff that have black things and white things in you. What is that? It's going to come out at some point. And you chose an aircraft to do all these things.
Wow.
That have the smallest, the teeniest lavatories in the world.
Yes.
And now you need to go in there and do your business. So I was going to say, what does that look like? We don't know. We don't want to know what it looks like.
No.
But what are you thinking? That's, I guess, my question. What are you thinking? So I'm going to start with Cinta again, because just like Kendall said, she got to me before with that. After you eat up, did you not have issues on that aircraft? I mean, you don't expand?
No.
Gas?
Unless
there's some expansion.
If depending on the time of the flight, I could do what I got to do. But if I got to go, I got to go. But it's not because of the eggs or the fish.
That just sounds like a bad combination. It's not because of the eggs or the fish. I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
I will say I adjusted my diet because of flying. So when I first started flying, this is a little weird, but I loved broccoli, raw broccoli.
Oh, no.
I had to have it all the time. Broccoli, it was a texture, the crunchiness, the sound, whatever.
No.
But it gave me gas.
Yes.
Probably TMI, but whatever. And I didn't want to walk down the aisle spraying everybody.
So what do we call that? What do we call that? Crop dusting. So I cut it out. I don't eat broccoli on my,
when you're
it's not as much as a part of my diet as it used to be before I started flying, but I had to let it go.
So explain what crop dusting is.
It's when you're walking down the aisle, letting it out.
And you dust your crops, which you are the people, the passengers. You are the crops.
And the thing about it is, when you do it, nobody knows where it came from. By the time it hits them, you're in the back of the plane.
Yeah.
And so they're looking around at their neighbor like, oh my goodness.
Right. For me, it
was Ron.
They have no idea. It was the little flight attendant that just walked through.
Especially if you tick me off on that flight, and I know I gotta pass the gas.
Oh, man.
I don't find it.
You are a piece of work.
Kendall, you dust some crops.
I don't do that.
She doesn't even use the bathroom on the plane.
I
don't do
if
that.
You have gas?
I don't pass gas. I don't do that.
Kendall.
Okay.
I don't. Not on the airplane.
Who are you lying to?
Oh, I do. I do pass gas, but not on the airplane.
You must be vegan.
So you
I know
hold
how
it
to.
in?
Like this.
How does your stomach feel after you get off the plane?
I'm okay. I'm
okay.
here.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is the most unsafe thing you could possibly do.
Yeah.
I'm living.
Don't do it. Make sure you pass it.
Your gut has to be relieved.
It will go when it's time. It's not time.
It's not safe.
I care about people's noses. Do you know I love cheese?
She's a silent killer.
Yeah. Yes, I'm not passing gas on that plane, girl.
Okay. Also, so Kendall, you're going from, I don't know, from Atlanta to
LA.
Oh
gosh.
4.5
What are you doing?
hours.
I don't eat prior to that flight.
What?
Wow.
Really?
That's a talent.
Intermittent fasting, folks. Try it out. Look it up.
That's a talent.
It works.
Wow.
Well, I don't know. I had issues with going just in general when I was younger. I really could not go in public bathrooms or anything.
I still have that problem.
But that changed. That you get a little older and it's like, look here.
You gotta go.
You either want to do it
out.
now? Yeah, it's better out than in. And I don't play with that.
It happened to me once. I held it in. And I got off the plane and I was sick as a dog. My stomach was hurting. I'm hurting for you to know that you hold that in.
I'm okay, guys. Don't worry about me.
I don't even hold it in. I just figured out a way to do it.
Don't worry about me. I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'm blowing it up with the thought.
So we just had some best cakes ever during the break. So we want to. It was fantastic too. So
they were delicious.
Yes, we're going to give you the information for if you need the homemade cakes. If you want something like that. We'll give you the information at the end of the show. But, I think cake won't hurt you on the plane. But, all that other stuff, it's broccoli. Yeah, we have to be careful.
Sauerkraut.
So if you're a passenger.
Who eats sauerkraut?
I know, right?
Oh,
I didn't hear that.
Flight attendant must have been related to Jacinta.
That was shade.
I see the show.
The pilots were like, what is that? Yeah, it was that. Completely lit up the front of the plane.
So just sauerkraut, no hot dog, no nothing.
Just like on top of something, I don't know. But the smell, I couldn't see past the smell, literally.
That is crazy.
So coffee, what about coffee in the morning at 7, 6, 7,
now,
8 o'clock?
Coffee, I don't drink it. But that'll give you that morning dew. I mean, if you
it will.
If you ready to cleanse yourself,
that is where. And they come to the bathroom. They come to the back of the aircraft.
So here's the thing: I had a situation on the aircraft where I took over a plane. Another crew brought the plane in. They got off. We got on. I walked to the back of the plane doing my security checks. And I'm like, what is that smell? So I go to check the lavatories and notice that somebody has dropped little presents in the lavatory and didn't flush.
Oh, come on now.
Not not flushed at all. And there was no tissue in the toilet.
They didn't wipe. Oh, they didn't wipe themselves?
No, they didn't wipe. They didn't flush. All of it was just very strange to me. And so please, if you go to the lavatory, we don't like those kind of presents. We like credit cards, cash, diamonds. We don't like those kind of presents. So please don't leave them for us.
No. Well, and that brings me to something else. If you go to the lavatory, whatever you take in there, make sure you take it out, because, except for that. But just I had a situation. I was in the galley area, and this lady comes out of the lavatory and she goes to sit down. This other guy comes up. He goes into the lavatory and he opens it up real quick and he put something in I didn't want to hold. Because how people reach for you and you automatically hold your hand out.
I don't even do that. I'm like, okay.
But he puts
give me one second. Let me get my
That's what I should have done. I wasn't thinking. He puts this tube of cream in my hand.
Cream?
It was cream. It was cream.
Okay, sorry.
A tube of cream in my hand.
Man.
What kind of cream?
Something that you needed in the lavatory.
So that mean that person went like this, and then
and then I told him, I said, "This is not right, man.
This is not
Why
right."
would you do that?
I had to go and I sterilized all kinds of stuff.
So wait, do you find the owner of the cream at that point?
No, I could have made announcements, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a tube of vaginal cream. Something for you.
Please bring your flight to the call button if this is yours, because you had the audacity to leave it in the lavatory.
She needed that, but she probably really needed that for her next flight.
Well, then she should have took it out of the lavatory.
She could have come back and claimed it.
Oh no, that's embarrassing right there.
Sips tea.
Wow.
So audience, I think I have the audience chiming in. So audience, should you come back to claim your? No. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't claim your cream. Just leave it.
Wow.
So for Christmas, I had a guy that he couldn't hold his urine. So I gave him his drinks. He's like, oh, I gotta go. But I went up to the front, didn't pay him any mind. So I come back and he's turned around, peeing in the recycling bin.
Oh, bless him.
And I was like, sir, what are you doing? Because, you know, when you're in the air, I'm like, why are you next to the galley door? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he's like, oh, nothing. And he's pulling up, like zipping his pants up. And I'm like, oh, no, sir. No, like, you're really doing it. We built a rapport when he first got on. We had a little relationship established. Like,
then.
and I was like, why did you do this? He's like, I couldn't hold it. And I'm like, oh. Okay,
that's just disrespectful.
Like, why would you do that?
Sanitary.
I was like, there's 2 labs on the plane, one in the front, one in the back. Like, you couldn't run to the front. I mean, I just didn't know what else to do. And I was like, are you drunk? I only gave you 2 and you only drank 1. I'm confused.
If he couldn't hold it, I don't know. I have mixed emotions.
Yeah, I know, I do too.
It's like, do you want him to just go on himself?
Yeah.
And then deal with that, and he has to sit down with his pants all wet and all that. Or
I'm with you on that. But imagine walking back there and seeing a man in the middle of finishing himself off.
But they say it's harder for men to hold it because of the way that they're
prostate
built.
Designed.
Yeah,
you could have that prostate. Yeah, and maybe he just wanted to flash you with the sperm. I don't know.
Oh man.
Well, maybe you said you had a rapport. You said y'all had a rapport. So there you go.
This is Captain Fly Guy speaking. We've leveled off with our cruise altitude, and I want you to pay close attention to those flight attendants' instructions. And for right now, I just want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
I want to get back to Sensa's story about the older lady who may have had
IBS, maybe?
Something. So what was going on with you?
Well, okay, so we land in Vegas. When we get to Vegas, everyone's getting off the plane. The lady's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I was like, well, ma'am, there's a restroom at the top. So she's like, no, I have to go now. So I opened the door, I let her in. She had been in there, like, you know, when you're deplaning a huge aircraft, it takes about 15 minutes. So she'd been in there for 15 minutes. So the last person off is her husband. I was like, well, your wife is still in the restroom. And he's like, yeah, I know. She does this all the time. Oh, okay. But then the smell started coming and it started hitting. And I was like, what is that? I was like, oh my gosh. So I roll up to row 3 and I still smell it. And I'm like, I'm rolling up to row 5. The captain comes out and he's looking at me and I was like, oh, it's bad. He's like, yeah. And so we kind of try to keep our faces straight. We get to row 5, 7. We still smell it. So the first officer comes on and he's like, man, what is that smell? And we're like, we don't know. We're pointing. The lady's still in the bathroom, y'all. Like, she's still in the bathroom. So he's like, well, I'm in the Marines. I can handle it. I'm going to the cockpit
Marines
to eat.
Teach you how to smell.
I can handle anything. So he goes in there and he's eating. He comes back and he's like stepping out like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What is that smell? And we're like, yeah, we told you. So she comes out of the bathroom and she's like, walks off like nothing happened.
Yeah, she's refreshed.
And we're all looking at each other because all the flight attendants at this point were all ready to go home. Yeah. We had to wait for her. So we're all looking at each other like, okay, this is horrible. So the catering guy comes, opens the door, and you can't see me on this podcast, but in the video, he does something like mouth drops.
Mouth is wide open.
Shakes his head. No, we're not doing this. No, I'm not doing this. He's like, this plane is out of commission.
This
Call a supervisor.
Oh my goodness.
And I die laughing and I was like, it can't be that bad. So I was like, I gotta see.
Oh no.
I was like, I just gotta see how bad it is. So I opened the door and it was like a murder scene full of crap. Like diarrhea just exploded in the bathroom. On the window, on the mirror, on the sink. It was like on the ground. It was bad. And I was like, what is she doing here? And she walked out like nothing happened.
Well, how was her clothing intact?
Get to that. We get off, we get to the jet bridge. You could still smell it. So at this point, it's going all the way up to the top. So we're trying to rush to get up out of there. So we get out of there and I'm like, girls, like, I still smell this. Like, it's still permeating in my nose here. It's like, something's wrong. I look ahead about like 20 feet ahead of me. She's walking slow, but the husband's like 10, 20 feet in front of her. Like, he's going fast and she's moving slow. And I see boo-boo all down her pants leg. And I was like, okay, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, I felt
bad. But I also was like, but how? For me, it was how.
Wow.
How did that happen?
Well, it was like a monster.
The smell that I was smelling was her fragrance leaking, and I was like, "We got to pass her. Y'all. I can't do it."
But you know, when something really smells so bad, it feels like you can. It's actually you can see it. You know, it seems like you can see it all of a sudden. You can see
like the cartoon.
the fumes. Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. Well, listen, I feel bad, and I'm just glad I wasn't on that flight.
Me too.
Sharona, what's your story?
I had it once where a lady went into the lavatory, and I was standing there pouring drinks. And all of a sudden, I see a liquid rolling out of the lavatory. And she came out. She swung the door open with her pants still down. She said, "I didn't realize the seat was down."
Oh.
And I'm like, what? Because, let me get you something so you can get that up. But she stepped over it and went right to her seat.
Oh, no.
And you know who had to clean it up?
Who?
Probably me.
No.
That lavatory off.
It was out of the lavatory. It was so much, and she probably was on like a lot of medication.
You're
had a
grown.
But you know, I'm gonna come to Sharona's defense on this one because I've done some things for people in the lavatory that I normally probably wouldn't.
Yeah,
because of
you feel sorry for them, and you don't know what they're going through.
Exactly.
I've done it.
I know you've done it because I know something that you've done.
Yeah, I've done it. I wiped a 70-year-old lady's butt.
Whoa,
I was still on probation.
That's beyond my pay grade. I don't think.
No,
that's amazing.
Yeah. But you know what? But the thing of it is, you can only do what you are comfortable with doing because you never know until you're in that situation.
And she said she was my grandmother. Like she was like, "Help me out here," and I was like, "I don't know what to do," and I did it.
So to you guys out there,
will I do it again?
That was nice.
To you guys out there watching this or listening to this podcast, don't even play. Don't get on that plane. Because you want to see if a flight attendant's going to wipe you or do something like, no, we're not talking about that. You know, we're talking about specific situations of where you are helping someone who needs that help. So, but I will say this, those are moments that, we feel compelled to help. Mm-hmm. But there are some people who just do things, but they don't have to do it. They don't have to do it the way they do it on the airplane. So, which leads me to story time. What a day. Oh my goodness. Long day. 6 legs and... Oh, hello. Well, you're already here. Why isn't that special? Well, welcome. After a long day, I like to get relaxed and calm myself down, calm my nerves. So if you just hang out for just a second, I'll be right with you. We'll get together in just a second. Since you all are here already, I'm just going to get myself together here. What a day. If you don't mind, I like to get a little more comfortable here. Slip into something a little more comfortable. Ah, that's much better. There's nothing better than after a long day of traveling to just come home, sit back, and reflect on the day. And with those reflections, I like to call them Inflight Shenanigans, a flight attendant's tale. In here, you will find all kinds of different stories and shenanigans that's happened on board aircrafts throughout the years. Would you like to hear a little bit? I will be more than happy to share. Come close. No, come a little closer. I call this one Lavatory or Purgatory. So what had happened was, boarding had commenced, and as the passengers walked on board the airplane, the gate agent finds a path between 2 customers and pulled me over towards the corner of the galley. She whispers in my ear, "Hey, we have a VIP boarding after everyone else is seated. They will take the first row seats in business class on the left. He really wants to stay incognito. He's traveling with his manager." I said, "Oh, okay, cool. I'll take care of him." This was not going to be an easy task, considering we were going to fly from Atlanta to Los Angeles, which is at least a 4-hour flight. As the last person boards the plane, just behind them is a magnificent-looking man who I recognized right away. He glanced up at me, smiled, and flashed his pearly white teeth and softly said, "Hello." He sat by the window and his manager sat next to him on the aisle. We take off, and about 2 hours into the flight, his manager comes up to the galley and tells me that the VIP would like to use the restroom. I said, "Okay, it's open, and I'll make sure no one disturbs him." The manager motions for the VIP to come forward, and as he reaches for the lavatory door, he looks at me while I'm pouring drinks in the galley and gives me a nod as if to say, "Thank you," or "What's up?" Well, not much time passes when the VIP comes out of the lavatory. My back was turned from the lab, but I soon started to feel that I was being watched. I turned slowly, and surely the VIP was staring at me with this weird smirk on his face. As I began to say, "May I help you?" Oh. Then it came, fast and furious. The smell of 5 dead rats, a block of extra sharp cheddar cheese, and 2 dumpsters of trash from the fiery pits of hell slapped me in the face. Yes. It slapped me in the face hard, like Transformers fighting a war in my nose. As my eyes began to well up with water, I covered my nose. All I could think was, "Baby boy, what did you eat?" And that's just another in-flight shenanigan, a flight attendant's tale. Join us next time.
Wow.
From the fiery pits of hell.
Slap me in my face.
You know how it is.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
It sneaks up on you. It hits you hard
Wow.
too.
It hits you hard, man. And what can you do with
You
that?
don't see it coming. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
You don't see it. You just know that it's there, and there you go. Now, that was a VIP. I had little clues of who it is. So,
Yeah, I think I know what it is.
but if you figure it out, I'm just saying.
That's what it sounds like.
Well, I just want to say thank you to my guests today. You guys were awesome. We're going to do this as many times as you guys let me. If you guys are sharing this, if you're tuning in, just keep us in your prayers because this is what we do all the time. I don't do it anymore because I'm retired, thank goodness. But these ladies are out there. They're taking care of you, and we do it in love. We do it in love. We're doing this podcast. We're doing this show in love as well. So, ladies, you have anything in parting words for the people?
That ponytail.
That was a nice touch.
Yes.
Y'all know we have to get comfortable.
Because when you get home, that's one of the first things you want to do.
It's
Take your
coming
wig
off.
off, take your hair bow out, whatever it is.
Let it go.
So that was really authentic.
Good.
I like that.
But
Yeah.
thanks for having us.
Oh, you are
Thank
welcome.
you.
Yes.
Thank you guys, and thank you audience members. Thank you Best Cakes Ever, and thank you behind the scenes Tal and everyone else, India with iKing Pro, and all the people who make this possible. I thank you. Couldn't do it without you. We'll see you next time on the next Inflight Shenanigans Show.